Time for the fan favorite segment, the Fan Zone, where we give a focus on international football and fixtures coming up, and of course the headlines during the week. I'm joined by Man United fans, three of them. Never like hosting Man United fans, but you know, I don't have an alternative. So Sam Gitai has been here before, Eric Aganya and Joe Saina. Just reading Bleacher Report latest, Bruno Fernandes has been named United's Player of the Month for the third consecutive month. That instant impact. Bruno, deserving?
Yeah,
deserving accolade?
Yeah, it's deserving, especially when you look at when he came in January, at the end of January, and the kind of results he has brought into the club. Instant impact, he gave everyone a lift, and Paul Pogba seems to be working well with him. I think he deserves that one. And also looking at the Premier League Player of the Month, I think he'll also bag it, especially looking at how he's scoring goals. And also him tracking back, he's a wonderful player.
The partnership between Bruno and Paul Pogba working off?
It's really working well, and I think Bruno Fernandes has given Paul Pogba a reason to stay. Because before then he was thinking of leaving, but now he's seeing things are working. Bruno Fernandes, as my colleague has said, is one player who has come in and given everybody a lift. If you look at the last match they played, even when he was on the bench after being substituted, he was still applauding a save that De Gea had made. So that tells you what kind of a player he is. And look at the partnership with him and Paul Pogba on the field. It's really good.
Man United fans, overambitious as usual. Now they have started comparing Bruno to KDB. Too early to start rating him in that particular bracket?
Well, you'd think of it, if you look play for play between Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes, striking capabilities maybe when it comes to shooting the ball. If you look at how they try and score, if you look at how they try and make the passes to the right person, in this case either Sergio Aguero and or Anthony Martial, but it would be too early to compare both. I mean, Bruno Fernandes has his own accolades. He's a ball-playing, box-to-box, if he wants to be sometimes, and a creative playmaker. Okay? If you look at Kevin De Bruyne, he can be a creative playmaker and a classic number 10. But will he fall back and do the defensive work sometimes if Pogba is up front? Or would KDB, pull back again if, for example, Bernardo Silva or David Silva, for that matter, or Phil Foden is going up front? I don't think he can have that capability of being a box-to-box midfielder.
So the two are gifted differently?
They are gifted differently. They have different contributions to the game of play. I think if you put both of them, you'll have a scenario or a catch-22 whereby you'll have like Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. That's how I can put it in one team.
Leroy Sané finally making a move to his dream club, Bayern Munich. I think every German has always wanted a top player from German national team has always wanted to play for Bayern Munich. I think even it increases chances of getting named in the German national team. We saw the likes of Philipp Lahm, Jerome Boateng, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Thomas Müller. Top German players have played for, Bayern Munich, except maybe for Mesut Ozil. But good move from City, Leroy Sané?
I don't think it's a good move for City because he didn't excel as they would have wanted him to be, especially after coming from Schalke, 36 million. But then looking at it from the Bayern Munich side, I mean, that's a very big bargain. Getting him at 54 million, such classic player, he'll get into the squad very well. Of course, we have seen Bayern Munich struggle on the right wing with Kimmich sometimes and Serge Gnabry using that wing. And so it would be a good addition to that side. Maybe you'll see that trio of Gnabry, Lewandowski and him. So it's a good deal for Sané, and maybe you're going to see him also get into the German team, and he'll have more trophies. And now this is where you come to compare Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. Bayern Munich are doing well in the business side, so we are going to see Bayern Munich continue to dominate the Bundesliga in the next few years.
Can we fault Pep Guardiola for allowing Leroy Sané to leave? I know there was that fallout between the two, but considering they also had plenty of options on their wings, Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Wells, Sterling, Does that insinuate that Leroy Sané had no place at the Etihad and this move was justified?
I wouldn't say that he had no place because if you look at all those players being there, he was still being selected for the first 11 before his injury. I think Guardiola didn't have a choice because, as you said earlier, the Germans will always go back home to play for Bayern Munich because it's a big thing for them. It increases their chances of going to playing for the national team. He's the one actually who was pushing for the move, and Man City were reluctant to allow him to go, and I think that contributed to the fee coming down because in this current market at 54 million, that's a big bargain.
Is this the beginning of exodus of players from City, considering their ban on UEFA Champions League football? Because Bernardo Silva had already hinted earlier that he hasn't finished business at, is it Sporting Lisbon or Benfica, where he came from?
I don't think it's an exit because right now as we speak, the Premier League is over, but they're still in the Champions League. And by the way they played against Liverpool, that tells you if you're going to take away the Champions League for them next season, they want to win it. If you win it, again, you'll be the crown champions for the next 2 years in your mind because no one has actually come after your title as the defending champion. So I don't think there'll be an exit. I think right now is the best time for Pep Guardiola to solidify that team, to solidify the front three. Sterling, Aguero, Silva, whether it's Jesus or Aguero. It's time to solidify the midfield and time to work on the defense. They have never replaced Company, and if it goes on like this, they will have a problem because Otamendi is not Company. Laporte is not Company.
Is there a likelihood they might bring Upamecano or this Senegalese defender playing for Napoli?
Koulibaly.
You'd rather bring Koulibaly for 2 seasons. Why? Because Upamecano needs time to gel into that team. Remember, Leipzig play a counter-attack. Manchester City play a more possessive. Napoli, Koulibaly and Gattuso, they play more possession. And it's someone that Pep has always wanted to bring. Why you bring him? For 2 reasons. First of all, he has the experience. Secondly, the level-headedness that he can control that defense with the likes of Laporte and or Otamendi. But it's not a time for Manchester City players to exit. I don't think so.
Gossip, of course, United is a good opportunity when an agent wants to raise the price of a player. I think, first of all, they want that player to get associated with a move to United. We've seen the transfer saga revolving around Jadon Sancho from Dortmund to United. Alcantara Thiago is also being spoken about with regards to his move to Liverpool. Bellingham, the 16-year-old wonder kid, to Dortmund from Birmingham City. Emerson to Inter. Antonio Conte remaining very confident that he wants to reunite with his former defender. But out of all the transfer gossips being talked about, which one is catching your attention?
I'll go to a club in Serie A that is right now it's in the Division 2, Benevento. And they are going to be promoted this season, and the kind of names they're attracting are somehow surprising to me. You look at guys like Loic Remy and the Nigerian midfielder John Obi Mikel being attracted to that club. That one has stood out for me. But now talking about Jadon Sancho at 100 million, I don't think any club would afford such amount, especially
United
at the
wants
moment.
to give 50.
Yeah, I think that is the cutoff point. Either 50 or a maximum of 65, because I don't think there's any club right now with the current situation we are having. We have seen clubs undergo administration like Wigan Athletic, and maybe we are hearing about 10 or 15 others following the same route. I don't think it will be possible for United to spend 100 mils on him. But for Dortmund, of course, Jadon Sancho doesn't have a release clause. He still has 2 years on his contract, so they'll still remain with him. But he'll be a wonderful target if United get him.
Alcantara to Liverpool. Will Liverpool defend their title very easily when they signed the midfield linchpin from Bayern?
What I'm wondering, where will he play?
Maybe Henderson is getting aged.
Is it
Fabinho?
Are they replacing Milner?
I think if you look at the Liverpool squad is also aging. Most of them are 27, 28, 29. Maybe they should be focusing on bringing in younger players to take over because we've seen players like Sadio Mane being linked to Real Madrid.
Yes.
He can go anytime.
That's also a dream move for every footballer.
For every footballer. And if Real Madrid can come up with the money, I think he will go. And that will be a problem for Liverpool, because he's been a player who has been pushing them on and on and on. And if you look at the Jordan Sancho incident, I think I like what Manchester is doing, is taking a stand and saying that, hey, look here, you're not going to push us. This is what we'll pay. You're not going to overpay. We can start negotiating from 50. So we won't go beyond 70, which is really good, because in the past we've seen Manchester United overpaying for some players, and you wonder why were we paying this money for this kind of players.
So, Joe, I know Man United are trying to strengthen their squad. Champions League football is up next. Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish. Who's your best bet?
I think if you're looking at how the team is set up in the Premier League, if you're looking at individual brilliance, you'd give Sancho the edge. But if you look at how the Premier League is set up and the goal creation that Jack Grealish can bring in, I would go for Grealish. Again, let's look at this so-called wonder kids that we're talking about. This wonder kid that supposedly going to Borussia Dortmund. He's 16 years old.
Bellingham.
Oh, Bellingham, yeah?
Yeah, Bellingham.
So, last season, James came into Manchester United. Correct? With all the hype that was there for a wonder kid, what happened? He got swallowed by the Premier League. He got swallowed by the pressure. Again, the British press are very harsh when it comes to you being called a flop. And then you go to another club, you even excel and still call you a Manchester United flop. So for me, I would rather a tried, tested player who can come in, adapt very well to the Manchester United philosophy of not only counter-attack, but keeping possession of the ball, creating chances, whether it's a long ball or the short ball. Someone like Grealish can bring that. Sancho is brilliant at the counter-attack. Okay, on the right wing, he will run rugged any defender. But are we looking into how many times has he created goals for Haaland this season? And let's start from there.
And maybe what I agree with you is that what guarantee do we have that when he comes in, he will be able to adapt to the Premier League? We've seen Shinji Kagawa coming in at one given time from Borussia Dortmund. He was not able to really adapt. But if you look at somebody like Grealish, he's been in Aston Villa, a club that has been struggling, and he has been shining. So he understands the Premier League. He knows how to go about the Premier League, because you've seen so many players coming from outside, and they are unable to adapt to the Premier League. As much as Sancho is good, maybe what we need right now is a Grealish, because he's already in the Premier League. He will be able to play on the right-hand side where we have a problem right now. We've tried James, we are now trying Greenwood, so we don't have a regular on that side.
Mason Greenwood, is he the best kid to have played for United? You know, we've had Rooney at 16-year-old, you know, was getting signed from Everton, you know, scoring in 2004 Greece, for those who followed in Euro Cup.
But in the recent times, maybe.
Yes.
In the recent times, last 7 years, maybe.
So, just like Eric was talking about, you know, Sadio Mane heading to Real Madrid, a dream move for any footballer. Eden Hazard joined Real Madrid. And so is Anthony Griezmann moving to Barcelona. But the two have failed to stamp authority to establish themselves as influential names at the two respective clubs, both now pushing for La Liga title crown. What's the way forward for, you know, Barcelona and their never-ending bid to replace Neymar? They tried with Ousmane Dembele, it refused. Felipe Coutinho, it refused.
Yes.
Anthony Griezmann, it's proving difficult.
Yeah, and I think it was very surprising to see him only play, I think, 4 minutes in that match they played against Atletico Madrid. And a lot of things are affecting Barcelona when you look at it from the management, you look at it from the La Masia Academy. They have really had some failed projects, and also the swapping in of coaches, Quique Setién coming in at the middle of the season. It's quite failing for them, and looking at it, Barcelona might even end the season without a trophy. And they have spent a whole lot of money trying to replace midfield in Iniesta and Xavi, and of course they have not. And looking at the age of the players also, most of them are past their prime, 33, most of them are 33 and 31. It looks as if it's going to be tough for them, but I would love to see more talent coming in from the academy. We have seen Ansu Fati, he has been brilliant. They have Riqui Pugu has come in. And also some of the other guys who have now been taken away from the team, the likes of Carles Alena. I bet it will be time to at least invest in the Barcelona kind of philosophy where you're bringing in the kids from the academy and bringing them up with the Barcelona DNA, and not that one which they are relying more on technology and seeing how fast the player is. Rely on the Cruyff legacy that he built in that team.
Eden Hazard at Real Madrid, any magic that maybe Nadine Zidane is supposed to do for him to, you know, sparkle the way he did at Stamford Bridge with Chelsea?
I think Eden Hazard going to Real Madrid, it was a good move. But,
he's a world-class player.
He's a world-class player. But I think to some point I'll blame him as a player, because you realize during that pre-season he added weight. I think he wasn't working as hard as he was doing at Chelsea, and he struggled to get back to the team, and then injuries also came in. But I believe a fit Eden Hazard is a really good addition to Real Madrid.
Wow. So, let's speak about the latest transfer gossip involving managers. Daniele De Rossi, formerly in charge of, you know, he doesn't have any track record of being a manager. He played for Roma, he was a good player, Fiorentina as well. Now he will take over as the coach from next season. That is a floppy decision.
If Fiorentina are looking at a long-term managerial position, then yes, Daniele De Rossi would be good. But are they looking for an instant impact? If that's the case, then they'll be highly mistaken. Look at what Gattuso had to go through to get a trophy with Napoli. He had to coach as AC Milan, flopped at AC Milan. Look at what Simone Inzaghi, former striker who's now coaching Lazio, look at what he's doing. But he didn't start from there. He had to go through several clubs to get there. We've talked about the club that is coming back up. Who's his coach again? Inzaghi, his brother, who was again a striker at AC Milan. You have to go through the process. You have to go through these clubs, earn your badges. Has he earned his badges? The powers that be at Fiorentina believe he has. So they have made that decision, but they should not expect an impact immediately. That would be futile. They can't. He will come in, he will play to his system, he'll set up the team the way he wants the team to play, and he'll bring in his own players. Give him 2 seasons. Don't expect now.
That's how people talked about Gennaro Gattuso's appointment at Napoli, and he's done very well.
But before that, where was he?
AC Milan. He failed. He flopped.
But
in
AC
quotes.
Milan.
The sleeping giant. So, race for qualification as far as English Premier League football is concerned. I understand today a lot of fixtures. Your team, United, playing against relegation threatened Bournemouth, Chelsea up against Watford, Arsenal against Wolverhampton Wanderers. That is an assignment for the Gunners.
But they have been playing well.
It was Norwich.
Look at they haven't been playing well.
Let's just be objective for a minute as pundits. Here's the thing: they have sent an extension to Xhaka and to Martinelli. That is okay. They played and they scored well against Norwich. Now they're coming up against a Wolves side that believes that should play in Europe next season. It's going to be a tough match.
Yes.
Okay. But I always say the front three for me, the best front three, I believe in the Premier League. And I'm sorry, and I'm a Manchester United supporter, but if you get the best of Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang, if you get the best of those three, you have one of the most dangerous attackings in the Premier League. That being said, there are flops in the defense. Luis switching off, the uncertainty of Guendouzi sometimes can bring a problem against a hungry Wolves. So for me, I think they can get. I think Arsenal can win 1-0. I'm not saying a lot, maybe 1-0. If not, it would be a high scoring, but I believe Arsenal can win.
No,
I'm not saying this because I have so many people waiting for me at home, to say that at least you've supported my Arsenal. I'm talking objectively.
I would like Arsenal to win as a Manchester United fan, but I think...
because Wolves is also...
Yes, Wolves is really on our case, but I don't think Arsenal will win. Look at their inconsistencies. They played against... they scored 4 against a Norwich side that had played 20 minutes midweek. They're going to face a Wolves side that has not conceded a goal for over 400 minutes. It's a tall order for them. Look at... I don't understand how they gave Luis an extra 1 year. He's very erratic from his Chelsea. Look at when he's with Brazil. Brazil conceding 7. Luis making errors here and there.
Because he's not a defender, he's a defensive midfielder.
Exactly. And you see, that's the problem.
Yes.
That's the problem. So I think today is a very interesting match. As much as I wish Arsenal all the best, because they really have done us a favor. But I think also the rest to top 4 is really now separating the boys from
Watford in danger after Chelsea stumbling to 3-2 defeat against West Ham? Are they in danger? They are also relegation threatened, and you know, right now teams playing for survival, it's hard to play against such a side. And
okay, now looking at that game when they play Chelsea later tonight, there are a few things they will look at. Number one is how Chelsea defend their set pieces. They've been poor, so they might want to at least get a goal from that. And also, Watford, they haven't looked like they used to look when their coach came in. They have somehow fell off the cliff. And of course, we are speaking about some of the players even who declined to play and had a birthday party for Andy Gray, Domingos Quina and Nathaniel Chaloba. I don't know whether they'll be back for the game, but looking at them play a little bit, they seem like a team that could perform that on paper, but really on the reality, they don't look like a team that could win games. You look at guys like Doucouré, guys like Troy Deeney, they are guys who are really experienced and expect a better performance from them. But also now looking at Chelsea, a lot really has to be done, especially when you look at Marcos Alonso, who came in and received a lot of stick, especially for that goal from Yarmolenko.
But Frank Lampard stood by him.
Yeah,
Gary Neville criticized him.
Yeah, and also criticize him because, especially look at the second goal, I think he could have marked Gerard Boyne in a better way for that goal that Antonio scored. And also Kepa Arrizabalaga, out of 75 shots, he has conceded 38. That's not the most expensive goalkeeper you should be seeing right now.
So I think we need to wind up. Also in La Liga, title race. Is Barcelona chances of defending that title over after 2 consecutive draws against Celta Vigo and again? I think they were beaten by Atletico.
No, they drew.
Okay.
I think their chances are over. For me, they are over. They have more problems off the field. Just reading that.
Lionel Messi saying that he wants to.
He is fed up. So they have more problems off the field. So they are switching off. They are switching off at the wrong time. And Zinedine Zidane, being a seasoned coach in La Liga now, he's won quite a few Champions League here and there. He has the experience to finish it off. I think Real Madrid will take it.
Real Madrid will take it. So, Joe, your parting shot, what are you looking forward to this particular evening? I know a lot of sporting action.
The Watford game versus Chelsea, Crystal Palace versus Leicester. If they can drop points and Manchester wins against Bournemouth, you're looking at a 3rd place position.
So if Crystal Palace happens to beat Leicester and United wins against Bournemouth, United will go to 3rd.
Yeah, we'll go to 3rd. Now, and if Chelsea are won also, we'll go we'll go still to 3rd. But now the problem is the goal difference. We were talking about it earlier, the goal difference. But if the continued momentum is there, trust me, it's going to end that way. Secondly, the contagious issue about the appeal by Manchester City to have them included in the Champions League next season can affect the teams that are going to qualify for the Champions League this season. If they get their way and it's the appeal goes their way, then good for them. If not, you're looking at a scenario whereby Leicester can really push Chelsea for that position. And also, we have Tottenham versus Everton. Again, what Everton did to Leicester and what happened to Tottenham and VAR, that game was horrible. Eric Dyer has switched off completely. He didn't come back.
He's not a natural.
He's not a natural.
Look at those 2 goals. He stood and looked.
He's slow. He's slow.
Just try and react to something. I don't know, push the guy or something. But if you looked, he just stood.
Yeah.
You know, and Mourinho being Mourinho, he didn't want to be rude. Yeah. He was blaming everything on the referee. Yeah. But look at your players.
Look at your players.
Sam, your final words?
Well, I'll just be looking forward to the Formula One returning this weekend. Of course, you have the Austrian Grand Prix coming in tomorrow. So it's good for us motorsport fans. At least we have something to watch this weekend.
Wow. And Eric, I know you hopeful Man United will put a smile on your face.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to now the boys being separated from the men. Leicester.
This is how Man United fans get boastful after a few positive results.
We are reclaiming our glory.
Got boastful. Look what happened against West Ham.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think I'll really be happy when, in case we are at number 3 by the end of the day.
Wow, thanks for coming through. Nice show, guys. Sam, Eric, Joe, coming on the show. Shortest time, but we've had much fun, and of course looking forward for the same and detailed review and preview of matters football next weekend, same time, same place. My name is Maxwell Wasiki. Good afternoon and keep safe.